What's going on, guys? Cannon here from Remodel Favor, and in this video, it's going to be really short. I just wanted to show you how we booked this contractor in Miami 30 appointments, in-home appointments in 21 days using our contract acquisition system, all right? This is something I've actually never seen before, this much volume, in such a little time frame, and especially just the first month starting out, right? When using paid acquisition, oftentimes you have to let the algorithm learn a little bit. The meta has to know who exactly is your ideal client, who's going to respond to your ad the best. But with this unique scenario right here, 30 appointments in the first 21 days of launching, which is pretty insane. And if you want proof, you can just count those yellow markers on the calendar right there. Those are all in-home appointments who came into a funnel. They submitted, like if they're the authorized homeowner, the scope of their work, what's the timeline of their project, name, email, phone number, and then we worked them, qualified them, and booked them in onto the calendar for an in-home appointment. All right, so how we exactly did this. Now, number one is actually something a little unconventional. It's actually organic content. Now, seeing this, I've actually neglected organic content quite a bit. Before I was kind of the philosophy that, hey, you can just start a new Facebook page, run up some paid ads, and boom, you'll start getting customers in, which is very true. Now, with this particular contractor, he had great organic content set up. All right, he's probably the youngest client I've ever worked with, and it just goes to show younger people are just a lot better with technology. And so he actually had a bunch of nice, professional, engaging organic content already set up on both of his social profiles, his Facebook and his Instagram. All right, and so what this actually did was it kind of acts as a shield for your later marketing and paid acquisition campaigns. All right, because while for paid advertising, right, for our example, I do have some clients who don't even have websites. Right, we set them up a Facebook page, we make a couple of posts, and then we run some paid acquisition campaigns, and they start getting contracts, they start closing big ticket projects. Now, of course, that's great. Now, if you really want to enhance those marketing campaigns, organic content is the way to go, because what happens, and especially as in today's market where trust is getting smaller and smaller, a lot of people, they will go through the funnel just fine. They won't even, do some of their background research. They won't even check out the profiles. A lot of them just go through the funnel just fine. Now, there is that, a significant amount of people in that market who are a bit more sophisticated. They're going to want to do their research. They're going to want to check out your gallery, your pricing, your credibility, your reviews. All right. And so having this content up just really puts you above the competition. And again, like I said, it acts as a shield for your marketing campaign. So you can just close that additional percentage of the people who maybe lack trust or are just a bit more sophisticated than the standard person. All right. And especially we found this true with the higher end clientele that you actually want to go after. We found that they maybe saw the paid ad campaign, they checked out the social profile just to make sure, all right, is this a legit company? Is their last post from 2021 with the finger in the frame and it's like some gutted out kitchen? All right, so for his case, no, he was totally optimized, totally good to go. All right, and so once they see that, they go back to the ad, and they're more than willing to give their information. All right, and so as for the pillar for organic content, again, this is something that I kind of neglected, but we're definitely going to be focusing a lot more time and effort into now with posting organic content on social media. Is that going to transform your business overnight? Are you going to be going viral and getting a ton of views and whatnot? Most likely not. But what this does is if you're spending about $50 a day on paid ads, which is what our average client is doing, a little bit more, but $50 a day is like the bare minimum I would recommend for a contractor. If it costs, say, per 1,000 impressions, $50, well, then you're adding 1,000 impressions every single day to your ad. So essentially 1,000 people are seeing your ad, your business, your project photos. You're grabbing that attention. All right. Now, after 30 days, if $50 is still, the cost per 1,000 impressions, Facebook, depending on the ad, depending on the area, how competitive it is, it can fluctuate. But hypothetically, if it just stays at $50, then in a month, you'll you'll have generated around 30,000 impressions. Now, also as a bonus, this contractor in Miami had amazing Google reviews. And what I recommend is really just focus on the Google reviews. Of course, having good Yelp reviews is great. Having good Facebook reviews is great. But really, Google is the big game changer here, because when somebody searches up your company, that's the first thing that comes up. That's the first thing, that comes to mind when people want to search up the credibility of your company, right? Now, going on to pillar 2 is the paid acquisition funnel, where really the magic happens, and really where you're going to generate customers, and then eventually have the goal be those customers, of course, generate you some profit that you get to keep in your pocket, but they're also going to fund getting your next customer, to where you just have this constant flywheel where you're generating customers, you put some of that back into your acquisition systems, and essentially it's just customer funded acquisition right there. And that's something that's really scalable. All right. So you'll see right here for this campaign, it was $900 spent, 68 leads for $13 per lead. All right. Which is pretty insane. Again, I give credit to, of course, his organic content, the area, and also, the client himself. He's a very good business owner and really knows what he's doing well. And, people just trust him a lot, because also in his organic content, he had before and afters, project walkthroughs, but he also showcased himself. He actually gave a personality behind the brand, giving explanations and tips and walkthroughs and, useful guides, right? And so that's really, culminated in having a super low cost per lead and a high volume of leads as well. And you'll see right here, it says website leads. Now, a lot of agencies, they'll do the Facebook instant forms, which is essentially a person, Facebook and Instagram already have their information, so they can just do 2 clicks and they technically become a lead, right? Sounds great, but in the end, what happens is there's such little friction with becoming a lead that people often forget what they even opted into, right? Or they forget that they were even interested in what you were offering, right? Because people's attention span these days are just getting worse and worse and worse. So with us, alternatively, what we do, I'm sure if we did instant forms, this could probably be $6, $7, right? But I'm willing to sacrifice that for quality. And so what we do instead is we take them through, of course, making them manually fill out their contact information, because with that also Facebook and Instagram, they might have signed up in 2004. And, if they're using that same email, but they change their email or they change their phone number, then you're just getting bad data, bad information. Nobody's going to pick up, right? So we're making them fill out their information manually. And also on top of that, a 3 questionnaire as well, just adding a bit more friction. All right. And so really, quality leads who are engaged and also who are actively seeking to get renovations like this done and looking to hire as well. So for the creative that you see right here, what really generated these amazing results was this video right here. Now, this video was not edited at all. It was a simple project walkthrough of a beautiful driveway done. You can even hear like the wind noises. It was very, very organic. It's something that you would just see on your feed, right? But, in actuality, it was an ad, right? But it had an organic feel to it, because what most people forget when they do all these fancy edits, of course it can work, but there is an area of people's brains who, if they see it's some sort of ad or if they see it's like sponsored, they just immediately, scroll or click off. It's kind of the same philosophy when I reach out to contractors, basically giving them my offer or showing some case studies or testimonials. A lot of them have been screwed over by companies, maybe, who are similar to me, right? Or maybe they've tried stuff like this before in the past and it just didn't work. And so what that does in their mind is they just completely disregard it, no thought to it. And it's the same philosophy here, right? So with this creative right here, very organic, very simple feel to it. And also what happens is when we actually go to call them up later in the pipeline and follow-up systems, they actually remember what exactly the ad was, right? They remember, seeing the nice project photo, especially if they're looking for a driveway, and it's kind of like it just makes the call a lot easier, a lot less friction to it, right? And so while you're generating customers, right? Because with our ads, of course, we go after multiple segments of the market, but we're really want to go after people who want their project done sooner rather than later, right? Because if we were to go after people who are thinking about doing it next year, or kind of just, researching and gathering information, what I would put is like a useful guide or like a lead magnet, like top 5 tips to XYZ, enhance your driveway, or what to look for when picking a contractor. Now, in this case, a lot of our clients, they need their ROI sooner rather than later, right? And it's the same with myself, right? So we're going after people rather who are either, asking themselves, who can I trust to build my project? Who's credible to bid this job? Or the people who are asking themselves, what's going to look like? What's the investment going to be, right? So while you're also generating customers, you're also building a brand. You're building followers, because again, you're getting, if it's $50 a day in ad spend and it's $50 to get in front of 1,000 people, that's 1,000 impressions every single day going directly at your company. And you're also building a future customer list and the ability to reactivate old leads. Maybe if it's wintertime and it's slow season and maybe referrals are slow, word of mouth is slow, maybe you don't have paid advertising on, hey, you always have this lead source right here that you can reactivate. It's almost like scraping the barrel in a sort of way, right? So with that paid acquisition, once we have that figured out, where we're able to generate a low cost per lead, a high quantity of leads, while not sacrificing quality, that's when next step we go into, which is really working the magic in the background that people really can't replicate, right? So pipeline and follow-up systems. So pretty much with all these new leads coming in, right? This was, I believe, I don't know the time frame of this. Yes, it was 21 days, 68 leads, right? Now, with this client, the owner of the company, he's busy doing other stuff, right? He's busy dealing with clients. He's busy giving out quotes, giving out estimates, driving, right? And so most likely he's not going to have the time to stop what he's doing all of a sudden and pick up the phone to call those leads within 5 minutes, right? Because that's really the standard with advertising leads, whether it's from Angie, Thumbtack, Google, Facebook, Instagram. It's pretty much the same philosophy where you need to call them within 5 minutes of them coming into the pipeline, or else, the chances of you engaging that lead drops by 70%. I think it was like a sales hacker study, right? And so the owner, for this client, he didn't have the time to do that, and a lot of you watching are probably not going to have the time to do that, especially with all that lead volume coming in, right? Which, if you're not able to do that, that's totally fine. Now, if you don't have a backup plan, that's like the worst that can happen, right? Because eventually, leads fall through the crack, they don't get followed up with, and eventually the marketing becomes unprofitable. You have to turn it off, which stops your lead flow, and you're kind of just back at square one, right? And so to make sure, for this client in particular, he was only dealing with people who are actually interested in renovating their outdoor space, and also, were real. We had our appointment setters or our sales agents calling these people within 5 minutes, getting all the necessary info. Only then, once they were good to go, once they were qualified to his standards, would we send them to him, right? Whether that's in the form of a live transfer, so his phone would start ringing. Our appointment setters would be like, hey, it's so-and-so. She wants this, and that done to her driveway. This is all the information. Are you able to take the call? Yes, great. And then, they'd be connected. And that's really what we do with all our clients, right? Or if that's in the form of just booking them on the calendar for an in-home appointment, all right? So really, the idea here is to act as the first touch point of the follow-up sequence, because with advertising, you need to make sure they're real, right? Because a lot of fake data goes around, people put in fake information, it just happens. And you also need to make sure that they're actually interested, they weren't just mindlessly doom scrolling, right? Which saves you a ton of time and saves you a ton of headache. And so ultimately, that leads to more appointments for you, more time and freedom, and at the end of the day, more contracts, more money, and more profits in your pocket. And ultimately, right here, you have a system that you can rely on that will feed you business, throughout the year, no matter the market condition. All right. So that's essentially how this contractor booked 30 appointments in 21 days. Crazy case study here. I've never seen it, but can't take credit for all of this because he has a great company going on. So if you want these, these similar systems implemented into your business, if you want us to run your paid acquisition funnel follow up and work all your leads for you using our internal sales agents, and also generate referral partnership opportunities for you, then there's going to be a link somewhere below the video to book a call with myself. It won't be a salesperson. You'll be talking with me directly, and we'll see if we can come up with a game plan. And if it sounds good, then great. If not, no harm done at all. So other than that, make sure to like and subscribe to the video. Helps me out a ton. And I will see you on the next video.